Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Brown Bag Bets, powered by BetSperts. We are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christensen, and joining me always is Andy Molitor, who has just a beautiful sweatshirt on and wants, I think, tell you guys about an opportunity to get one. And this is even for people that are outside of those states we keep talking about.
Yeah, and this part's green, but I'm in front of a green screen, so it's a little tricky. But I will tell you, we've heard from, and this is not going to be the only opportunity. It's just the one I'm going to talk about today. But yes, we've been giving these away, or the deep dive sweatshirt, to anyone who signs up for WinBet, our new sponsor. But we will give you an opportunity if you're not in Colorado, New Jersey, or can't get to those spots quick enough for this before we sign up. You can get yourself one of these sweatshirts, not the one Drew's wearing. He didn't listen to the directions, didn't wear the right sweatshirt. We're talking Under Armour, baby, or the deep dive one if you want. In the Apple App Store or Android App Store, whatever you call that, the Google Play Store, if you leave a 5-star review between now and the end of the day tomorrow for the BetSperts app, we'll pick somebody, give you a free sweatshirt. These are solid. I wear this all the time. I like it a lot. So one of a couple giveaways I'll be giving away a few of these over the next week or two. So look for that. You know how to leave a review. Just leave a nice 5-star review. Write something nice. We'll pick one of them. We'll find you, and we'll get you a free sweatshirt by the end of the day tomorrow. That is Thursday. Otherwise, you didn't lose an NBA bet last night. Tennis, crushed. He won the first set tiebreak and then didn't lose a game after. 6-0 second set. Go Kovalik. By the way, we figured out the pronunciation. San Diego Toreros, again, 2 nights in a row, stayed up way later than I wanted to. Way later than I wanted to, because this one went into overtime where underdogs go to die. If you don't think that's true, and it's not. Underdogs cover like 70% of the time in overtime. But if you go back 4 years, there was a certain Illinois-Chicago, Northern Kentucky game that was a 12.5-point dog forcing overtime, losing by 13 in overtime. So crazy things happen in the extra set every once in a while when a team just continues to fall because they're little freaking kids. But we were able to, I think, sweep. That's the only plays we had.
It's pretty good
tennis
day.
and college basketball. So it was a good day. A little more basketball day, a little more NBA. I think you're going to get into that. But first, we've got an event. And I was just telling Alex off air, I've bet some CSGO this morning. I've got a UFC parlay going because they're fighting at like wherever they are in the world, they're fighting at this time in the morning. But I do have one other thing that I've bet on this morning, and it's Joe Biden. I found props. These are not something you're going to find on some of the legal books, and we won't promote any of the offshore stuff, but this is something you can find if you are a person who places a bet online, if you catch my drift. So that's where I found these. The Joe and Jill Biden kiss on lips. Yes, I know they're going to be wearing masks, but this guy loves to smooch the misses. So I need him to kiss on lips. It's very small max bets. Like, you can't put very much on these either. And then all the other ones I went through, I said the Pledge of Allegiance timed myself like 7 times this morning. I couldn't get to 17.5 seconds. It'll be a fire captain, young lady from Georgia, I believe, leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So unless she really drags this out, I think I can get that one home too. So, and you could lay the juice. So I'm betting. I bet at 2 places. So I could bet to win $50 on that. So not big bets, but something to make me pay attention to the inauguration today. So into real sports, Alex?
Well, I did want to add, there is another one floating around there that I did play as well. You can bet that, yes, Joe Biden will say the word Scranton, referencing his hometown. It looks like that's plus 170. I played that for a little bit as well. Love the political props. It's good to be able to cover all the bases today.
Scrantonicity, I dig it. So, yeah, that starts in about an hour. That'll be a big to-do. Be very exciting to, with UFC and the inauguration today, I don't know how people are working, but there we go. So big, like I mentioned earlier, big slate of NBA, and you found some wagers you like today.
I did. We're going to go back to the well here with a couple unders. We'll start with one. This one's actually moved against me. I played this at a little bit of a worse number early this morning. Brooklyn, Cleveland under 225.5. I think what I'm seeing here is a pretty big reaction to not only the game that Brooklyn had the other night, but the fact that Kyrie Irving will be coming back in this game. As I start to look at this and start to look at some of the impacts there, I expect Kyrie Irving to hold on to the ball. He brings the pace down a little bit on some of his teams. And as I start to look at the profile of this game, Cleveland is still carrying a bunch of injuries, some still COVID issues. So I expect them to be, pretty much playing probably less than 10 guys. So I think this has all the makings of kind of a blowout here where there's probably going to be a fast start. In fact, what I might end up doing here is just waiting to add some more live in case there is a fast start. But a lot of things, kind of for me, qualitative things, if you will, that are pushing me towards an under, and my numbers again are kind of all over this as I start to look at it here. I make this number 216, so I see a bunch of value here. Happy to play it, but if you want to grab some now, wait. This number continues to go up. I'm probably going to add some more. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I don't have a real good read on why this is going up. I think you might end up with a funny blowout. Could be a second half under look too.
Yeah. Another under that we have, and this one moved a little bit and then came back, which is nice. Golden State's playing San Antonio tonight. I grabbed under 228 last night. Went down a little bit, got all the way down to like 226.5. It just bounced back here. I expect it to, probably flatten out a little bit. I'm not sure what the over move was this morning, but happy to grab under 228 here. And again, as I look at my numbers, I make this 222.5. So a decent size edge. These two teams, Golden State especially, has been an under team this year. San Antonio just a slight under team. So kind of happy to follow that trend, happy to follow my numbers and grab an under here.
Yeah, it's been an underful year. There's been we did some looking at, there was a user question or a listener question, what have you, the other day, and we kind of did start looking at some of the trends in the NBA. It's been an odd season, but somebody said, you're only betting NBA unders, you're killing me. Like, you can only do what your numbers say. And, you adjust to the market, but sometimes it's just until the market wants to catch up, that's the way things are going to have to go.
It is. It's a process thing for me. And, I've had some success with that. As you've talked about, we went and looked, unders have been solid this season. And I think, honestly, that comment in sort of an ironic way, thanks to Samurai there, in an ironic way, kind of speaks to probably why there is some value on the unders. I think people are looking to bet overs here. There's a lot of ways to get involved in that. So we'll go to one more pick. And guess what, folks? It's an under. Phoenix and Houston, I grabbed under 221 here. Now, this number has started to drift out a little further than I want. It looks like 219.5 is still up. Look around and see if you can find a 220. If you can get under 220 here, that's still pretty good. I wouldn't play it much lower than that. But two teams, again, that have been great under teams this year. Phoenix, Houston and Phoenix, I think, are two of the best, if not the two best under teams so far this year. I think that the market, again, a little slow here to change in some of the numbers. I know that Houston put up 120 points last game, but I think that's going to be more of an outlier as we continue to move forward. So happy to grab it under here. My numbers have this at 217. So 220. I'm happy to take a little smaller edge here, given how these two teams have been from an under perspective.
Yeah. And we will hope for some slow plays, some stiff rims, some clank free throws, and some long possessions here. I don't know how much
dribbling,
pace, folks.
A lot of crossover.
Yeah, I don't know how much pace has been, adjusted this year, but it is tough when, a lot of last year's stats were like bubble games, and a lot of teams didn't play as many games towards the end of the year there because of the weird just, hey, we're going to do these 8 games. So I don't know how much last year's sample and your priors had to be adjusted off a normal year, but it is it'll be interesting to see how that finally does hash out. We're like 20% the way through the season now. We're going to have to start hitting, hey, there's some sort of a stasis to this. We're going to find out this is exactly what teams are. Although we just had like 30 players switch teams, so we maybe take a little while to adjust on some of those.
Now, one of the tough things at the beginning of the season was, like you said, trying to figure out what to do last year with some of the bubble stuff, which I think is probably, frankly, one of the reasons I had a little rough start for the first 3 weeks. But now that we have, 10 plus games for everybody, like you said, we're starting to get like a decent sample size. So I think that's why things are starting to get a little more dialed in.
Yeah. And like I said, didn't drop one yesterday because he didn't play any, which might have been the best play. Sometimes that's like when you force a play and you lose, that's 1.1 units usually. Like, it's way better than trying to win one. So technically, like leaving one off your card is your plus 1.1 in your head. I've done a
Yeah.
lot of leaving stuff off my card. I've been skipping a lot. I've had a bunch of leans, and I always go back and check them to see how they did. And like my last 6 or 7 plays that I almost played lost. So like that makes me feel. It makes me feel two ways. It makes me feel bad that my model is identifying them as plays, but it also makes me feel good that I'm using common sense and leaving them completely off there. So today, just a couple. These are extra games. I know some people have trouble getting down on these because the limits are sometimes lower on these. They're both the Big South, I think. I'm pretty sure, but and they're both rematches from yesterday. So these are both, complete. What do you want to call back-to-back switcheroo games? So Gardner Webb, the Running Bulldogs. This is -1 some places. Some skins have this +1.5. This is just something I have them rated highly compared to their opponent, even though you can look at instant results and say how they played yesterday and just I don't know. Again, we're going to answer that question one of these days, but I have them better than UNC Asheville, which I think it's Bulldog on Bulldog crime this week. So they're a good shooting team. These are both good shooting teams. Yesterday it was a decently high scoring game, both teams into the 70s, but Gardner Webb I have actually probably looking to be like a 3 or 4 point favorite in some aspects of my model. So I think they should be favored here. I'd lay 1, I'd lay 2. I don't know if it's going to go that way. It's steamed against me a little at some places. So G-dubs. Yeah, I got to put them in at BetSperts, don't I? I'd forgotten to put these in. I bet these late this morning. I do apologize. And then anybody joking about the 2-unit play yesterday on San Diego, that was a 2-unit play since it won. So congratulations on hitting the max play for the week. My other one, Camels, another, like I said, another straight up back to back. Yeah, this is one of my favorite squads back in the day. Chris Clemens, hope he gets better. I think he's injured, G League injured right now, undrafted guy, but he was a ton of fun. This is one that went to triple overtime last night against Radford. Campbell, I believe, was up pretty decent at half, pissed away the lead, and then did not cover in overtime as a 2-point dog. So this is it was a rough look for him, but off a triple overtime game, they get to go to their dorms. They get to go sleep in their beds, and Radford got to play 15 extra minutes of basketball and remains on the road for another road game. So I'm happy to take the home team here, who I also have, more highly rated than the opponent in Radford. The only thing this team really, really sucks at is the offensive glass. That showed up last night too. I think they're out rebounded on the offensive side 13-5, something like that. So rough look for a team there, but they shoot well. They're good with the ball. They don't turn it over a ton. They do forced turnovers. They get a decent amount of steals. So extra possessions, decent free throw shooting team as far as getting to the line. A lot of these lower level teams aren't great at making them, but a good 3-point shooting team. So hopefully Campbell's get it back on track tonight.
Love it.
And if I win them both, 5 in a row in basketball. So it's nice because it's been a rough year.
It's all about the up and downs.
Never losing. Ever. Our tennis guy last night won. Again, overnight tennis winners. Nothing better than waking up to a winner. What do you got today?
We're going to parlay something today. I know that a lot of people have feelings about parlays, but the way I think about parlays is if you have an edge, they can make that edge a little bit better by putting the two together. Conversely, if you don't have an edge, it makes it worse by putting two things that don't have an edge together. It's tough in a lot of sports. I think that in major markets, money lines are pretty tight. The NFL, especially the NBA, especially. But when it comes to tennis, I think that there is still some value in some of these big favorites. People who are underdog bettors a lot of times get kind of caught up in some of the bigger numbers that you see here. So one of the better ways to attack these things is sometimes to take two favorites that you have and put them together. And we're going to start with Mark Andrea Husler. He's playing Facundo Bagnis. Love Facundo Bagnis. Such a fun name, but Facundo should be pretty outmatched here. He's used to playing a much worse level of competition than Husler. Husler was one of the favorites to win this tournament. It is a smaller tournament, but there were outrights at a few places, and he was one of the shortest numbers on that list. Like the matchup for him, all the stats are kind of pointing me in his direction. So happy to grab him and add him with a Frenchman, Anton Huang. I think that's how you say it. We're trying our best here, folks. Another situation where I look at,
Huang. You got to drop a lot more letters. Hua.
Hong. Anyway, Antoine, as we'll call him for this particular segment, again, from a numbers perspective, has a better hold break, has a better average game spread against a better competition. This is just a spot where I think he's playing a guy, Lorenzo Gistino, not Gistano. I don't know why it's Gistino. I've never heard that one before, but another fun Italian name. Should be pretty overmatched here. So happy to put the two of them together. Now, part of this for me is another way that you can bet favorites in tennis is by betting a spread. So just like in the NBA and the NFL, you can play a favorite minus something, and instead of points, what they do is they have a game spread. So again, if you go back to the example of a tennis match, it finishes 6-4, 6-4. The spread on that match would have been 4 games, 2 in the first, 2 in the second. So if I bet somebody, say, minus 3.5 games, they would cover having won by 4. But if I bet the minus 4.5 games, they would have lost only having won by 4. And this could be an effective method. I actually like doing this in the WTA a little bit better because the matches tend to have, wider ranges, whereas in the ATP, things can be a lot tighter. This is an indoor tournament, so I think that we'll have a chance maybe for a tiebreaker even in one of these matches. So I'm not looking to try to lay maybe a big game spread here. I think that's going to be a little more risky. Instead, I'll take the 2 prices that I like, put them together, and we've got a nice parlay here. What do you think, Andy?
I like a good parlay. No, I see a lot of not only smart, analytical, but successful tennis bettors. I know parlaying some of these, like you said. Maybe it's one of those, and maybe that's a deeper topic that we could get into someday, or and some sort of media do it about. Like as people get sharper and they start to think about their betting rather than just wanting to throw darts and have action. It starts to be a bit of a misconception is parlays are bad. Because you see, parlays make up such a big part of the hold. If you look at some of the reports coming out yesterday for last month, parlays make up such a big part of the revenue stream for books. Parlays are, just a big way for a lot of recreational bettors to lose a lot of money. But at the same time, there are very useful ways to use them. And like you said, the way parlay math works, if you have an edge, if two sides are minus 250 and you think they should both be minus 500, it'll actually multiply your edge. It increases the edge you have on each of those by parlaying them together. Whereas if they're both 250 and they should probably be minus 200 and you parlay them together, it multiplies just how much of a minus EV play it is. It makes betting it worse. You'd be better served betting both of those minus EV legs as singles. So a parlay can not only magnify, 2 bad plays, it will magnify just the edge you have on 2 good plays. So one of those weird things that I feel like people, they get to a certain point and they say, yeah, I'm not betting parlays anymore. Parlays are, that's for chumps. Those are rec bettors. And like, it's true. I mean, if it's placing like a 6-team parlay on NFL sides on Sunday morning, yeah, that's a stupid fucking thing to do. Like that's, somebody's going to hit those, but they're not hitting them at the, you're never going to hit those at the rate that's going to be, commensurate to the payout that you're getting on those. So take it easy on that. But yeah, and then some parlays can't lose. Those can't lose parlays are fun. Like there are fun ones like that. You have odds boosts on some of these. You have the can't lose parlay, like stuff like that's fun, but that's something you do. I mean, if you're putting full units or constantly betting those aren't good. Like I bet a UFC parlay today that probably was minus EV, but I'm not putting very much money on it. I just want to cheer for a few UFC guys. And one time I hit one and I bought a grill. Yeah, I know. I couldn't even stay up for I couldn't even make it. I fell asleep for the last fight of my parlay. Didn't make it through it. I woke up and realized I won a grill. I didn't really win a grill. I exchanged the money.
The money for the grill.
Yes, but
you can't bet with grills yet?
That would be, I mean, a sportsbook should start doing that. Like you bet a parlay and they like mail you a smoker or something. That'd be awesome.
It's like a used car dealership.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, you get a free toaster when you sign up for a bank account. So, and if you missed at the beginning, again, the sweatshirt deal. If you really want yourself a sweatshirt, you can.
And you do.
And you do, and you haven't been able to get to it. And WinBets is dropping in Michigan this Friday, so possibly some more states popping, and we can get some more look aheads on that. But you can get the one that I'm wearing in the right there, the cool Under Armour one. It's got a nice big middle pocket with a special little key holder spot too. So those are
highlights your gorgeous red beard.
And my red beard against that red brick background. So if you go to the iTunes store or the Google Play Store and leave a 5-star review for the BetSperts app, you will have a shot at getting one of those. And I think that's pretty much it for today. A little recap. Why not? Like some unders, huh?
Yeah, let's go under, baby.
228.
Golden State, San Antonio. Brooklyn, Cleveland, Phoenix, Houston. Continue the
Wonderful. Wonderful weather. Campbell and G-Web in the Big South. These are going to be played concurrently, both at 7 Eastern. So a while for those. That's kind of the reason I bet on the inauguration, something to do this afternoon, although UFC goes on for another couple hours yet. And this is overnight. Husler Huang. Hua. I'm going to go with Hua. And Dev's asking what kind of grill. I bought a new Traeger to go with my grill collection.
Yeah, this will be overnight. Again, same thing as we've had the last few nights. It could start as early as 2 a.m. Eastern time. It start as late as like 6 a.m. Eastern time. We'd love to let you know, but they haven't told us yet.
Yeah. And apologies for, I was kind of swamped this morning. I didn't get those put on the app. I did it during the show here from my phone. That's how easy it is to enter plays on the BetSperts app. Maybe you should mention that in your 5-star review. So those are in. Those are official plays. I apologize I didn't get them in on time. And Alex, we'll see you tomorrow.
Have a great day, everybody.